Yeah, so welcome back, guys. This is another episode and another day. Still Flutter project. So still on the project we're building with Flutter. We are kind of like on the version for 5.0. Yeah, 5.0. Yeah, if I'm right, that should be 5.0. And we'll be hoping to add the functionality whereby the users can be able to um add their own questions and have the app ask them that particular questions, and then they can try to be able to answer the questions depending on the time they set or the speed they set. So that's what we trying to accomplish today. And yeah, so that's it for I think that's it. I don't think there's any other stuff. Yeah. Just remember, we also be trying to host the app too. So yeah, hopefully we should be able to host the web version, not the mobile, because mobile we can't be able to do it today. There's some other stuff that needs to go in there. But for web, we'll be looking into hosting it, and finally I'll be uploading the GitHub repo today. Like I told you guys, I'll be actually be giving you guys the repo for free to use as you want, and take a look at it and see what you can do with it. So I'll be holding up to that part of my promise. So I'll be uploading the GitHub repo for out there for free, and also be showing you guys how to host and host up on GitHub. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into this and start working on the project. So if yeah, we may throughout the last live stream, yeah guys, if this is your first time joining me on live today, if this is your first time joining our program, try to subscribe, keep on getting the subscriber counts up, share with your friends, family, anyone who is interested in learning how to build stuff, not just programming, but anyone who's interested trying to create let's say product or software, any other stuff, any stuff they're kind of like interested in. If you want to learn programming too, yeah, mobile development, you can actually share the video with them. But most importantly, try to subscribe to the channel and share with friends to get the channel to keep on growing. And thank you all who have been subscribing and who have been there and encouraging me to keep on producing and putting out more videos. Thank you. And yeah, like I said, so we'll be heading over to the project itself, and let's try and walk through this. So I think, yeah, like for those of you who are with me on the last stream that we did, we had an issue. Basically what the issue was about, we weren't able to actually delete the sign, like any of this sign, whenever we add it on the app. So that was the issue that we had. So I had to go back and take a look and see how to fix that or what happened, because we are not able to fix it online. It actually took us like about, let's say, 10 minutes to actually figure some stuff out, but at the end of the day we didn't figure it out. So yeah, so right now it's actually working. So you can actually delete the signs and add any other sign at the back, delete that, add any other sign, delete, add any other sign, and it still works. So if, let's say, 85 divided by 5 should give us 17. I'm pretty bad with my multiplication, but that should be what we should be getting. And let's say we remove the sign, we want to do 85 multiplied by 2, enter. That should give us 170. So let's try again, remove this, and let's try 85 minus 5. That should give us 80, and I can decide to remove that and try 85 plus 5. That should give us 90. And I think that's it. And also you can just clear the whole screen, and yeah, that's it so far, and everything is actually working the way we want it. So now we'll be kind of like I said, we'll be moving towards adding questions for the user to ask themselves. So if you tap over here, this should bring us our drawer. Currently right now, this is how we are able to add questions, but I don't want this to be here again. I want to move this question to a different home page. So that's what I'll be doing right now. I think that would be better instead of having this question right here, having the functionality to add a question right there. We'll just move it to the home page. But before we do that, let's try to style our drawer up. So let's give it some good styling to actually look nice. So let's head over to the main.dat, and inside the main.dat, let's start with the mobile drawer. And if you take a look, you can actually see we are repeating this drawer every single place. That's not good. It doesn't look nice. It would be better if we actually have a custom. I usually call it a custom widget, but that's what it is. Yeah, kind of like abstract it, put it in one particular place, and I can actually reuse it on different places instead of trying to repeat the same code over and over again. That doesn't seem readable and doesn't look nice in our code base. So let's go ahead and fix this off. First of all, let's start with this drawer, and I'm gonna set this drawer header color to be actually the color that our main color, which is basically this color. Just copy that. Even this color is we could actually make a one particular file whereby we can add this color there and reuse it everywhere in our app. I think we already have that or somewhere, so here we go. You can actually have the theme color, our primary color over there. Now I want to center this, center the shared property, so wrap that with the center widget. So if you go ahead and save this, then you have this centered. But I don't want this to be a text, I want this to be an image. What do I have to do? I already have an image downloaded in my app, so what I need to do is to put this inside our VS Code, or basically inside our project, not VS Code, but inside our project. So I'm going to close this off, and what I need to do, click over here, down here, then add another folder, and I'm going to call this folder assets. And inside the assets folder, create another folder. I'm going to call this folder images. And inside the asset folder, I kind of like to create a dummy I18 folder. That's for translation. Just create it there, and then in here, inside the images, I can go ahead and drag and drop this right in there. So basically drag, hold down, and drop it inside the images folder. So this is the image we are going to use as a logo in here. So the next stuff I need to do is to go over to pub.yaml. You need to set some changes there. What am I even saying? You need to set up some changes right in here. And guys, if you cannot want to talk about something, just hit me up on the chat section. I'll be looking through the chat, guys. Try to send submission in the chat. Okay, let's continue. Right over here, so what you need to do for you to be able to use the icon that we added, or the image that we added, you have to go down and uncomment this part of the code, and in here we need to be able to add a direction to the folder we created for our images. So that should be slash assets. Make sure it's actually the same spelling for these two folders. Assets, make sure that you spell the asset the same, slash images, make sure that the images folder is still the same spelling right there. After that, go ahead and save this. Once you have everything saved, I think we do. So let's wait. Okay, I think that's complete, and I save it again to make sure. Yeah, that's complete. And then let's go ahead and start, and again need to restart the project. Sometimes we actually need you to kill the project and start the project from the beginning again for you to be able to see the images. But let's try this. Restart the project without killing the project. Go ahead and copy the image name. So I'm going to copy that. This is how I usually copy it. I just use the name, copy the image name, and then go outside the just copy the image right now. So go inside our project itself, calculator, and inside main, I'm going to remove this. Like I said, remove this. I'm going to replace this with image. I will be using image.asset, and assets, that should be from, was it required that we do? Okay, the constructor main code is the constant constructor, so let's get this fixed. Okay, right in there, so we're getting images, assets, images. So the image name is basically this, and if you go ahead and save this, it should actually work. Let's go ahead and give it a height, a width. Let's say width of 100. Let's give it a height of 100. Save that. Let's open this. There you go. You can actually see the image being added. So that's what we are looking for. So we added that. A finger sign, kind of like, you already know the name of the app. The app name is actually called Fastest Finger, and we are using a finger sign on the app to actually denote what the app is all about. So let's go back. So right now we already have this sign showing up here. Next, I'm gonna move this into a separate screen. So what I need to do, I think I already done that. I created a different screen for it. Let me see, widgets, no, application, question screen. Yeah, I think I did, and I did that inside the application and team states, toggle team. Doesn't make any sense to actually create this in here. I think what I need to do, inside a calculator, I'm going to create another folder, and I'm going to call this folder screens, and inside the screens I'm going to move this out into the screens folder, move, and there you go. So this will be our question screen right in here. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go back, copy the whole stuff for our question, which we did right here. So I'm going to copy the whole stuff all the way from here, starting from the first text field that we had, all the way to the button. That should be this. Copy all those out. Right now we shouldn't be able to see this again. If I save it, everything goes out. Yeah, that's what we need. And go straight in here. I'm going to use a column because we want that everything to be in like one at a time in a column direction. So I'm going to say column, and before that ingredient you have to use a scaffold. Inside the scaffold, just remove the bar. We don't need the bar, and we need to wrap this, so we don't need the center widget also. I'm going to try to make this to be constant at the moment. Wrap this with safe area. Then in there we should have our column, and say inside the column we should have our children property. Now way inside the children property, okay, yeah, right now way inside the children property we should paste the code that we just copied, and the host should be able to show up here. Go ahead and save this. We need to do one or two stuff, which needs to start with this, and let's go ahead and import all this stuff. Yeah, from provider, and go ahead and import this. So go ahead and format our code. Hopefully we're not missing anything and everything is working as it should. So yeah, we're good to go. Go ahead and save this, and now we should be able to hook it here in our drawer, so that when someone taps on it, it should take the user to this particular screen. And the background, you can actually give it a background color, and the background color should be theme dot of context of background color. There you go. Go ahead and save that. And if you go ahead, let's go to this main.dat. In here, I'm going to remove this, comment it out. Then in here, I'm going to rename this one to say something like create questions. I think that should be good. Create question. Yeah, there you go. I can actually see that. So when the user taps on this, it should actually be able to go take the user to the create question screen. Once that is done, we don't need this pop, so we need a navigator to navigate to that particular screen that we want. But that's another way to use navigation, but we are going to use the simplest navigation from React in Flutter itself. So we're not going to introduce any package at this moment for navigation, but if you are interested in having a package to handle your navigation issues and kind of like smooth kind of a way to handle your whole navigation, you can go with Go Router. I think, yeah, Go Router, which is basically Flutter for Flutter. Yeah, there's this. You can use this, or you can use GetX. So GetX gives you a routing options and a routing library for you to use for routing. But that's a overkill for this, so I think you can basically go with Go Router. But there are a whole lot of other options out there you can actually use, but the one that comes to my mind at this present moment, because I know there's a lot, but the one that comes to my mind at this present moment is called Go Router. Like I said, you can actually go ahead and use this one. I don't know if we should implement it and use it. I don't know what you guys think. Should we? And then go to redirect. Okay. But we can actually go ahead and keep on using your Flutter native navigator, and that should be navigator dot push. Yeah, that should be navigator dot push. Then pushes you to the routes that you want to, and we're not going to use named routes. Routes is going to be coming from material. I think I'm forgetting all this. Material routes. Hope this is it. Material routes builder. Let's see. I think I've forgotten this again, because I usually use GetX now for routings, but let's see. Okay, yeah, routing. So let's see. So yeah, navigator dot of context or push. Okay, I see. So just copy that. So that's basically Flutter native routing way that I just copied over. And the place I got it is from Flutter page itself, Flutter main homepage. So it says navigator dot of context. The current context is current screen that we're trying to move away from, dot push, and we are using material page route builder with a context, and we are pushing to a screen that we want. In this case, our screen is called question screen. So this is where we want to push to, question screen. And our question screen doesn't have any parameters, and not S questions, just questions. And import that. I think that should settled. Save this. And if you go ahead and tap on that routing, so let's tap on this. There you go. You see, we are actually taken to the equation screen itself. So that's nice. So let's go over to the equation screen and pick some stuff. Right now I'm going to make this okay. Everything is actually taking the full width. Yeah, so let's start with this. I'm going to add a padding top. Let's see. Padding. So let's use padding, not padding.org. So we are going to use padding.only. Padding.only. We are going to use top. And top, let's set it to 40. Save that. You see that I've been pushed down a bit. Before we add this, I'm gonna add another stuff over here, and I'm gonna call that back button, and that's actually from Flutter itself. It's not a custom widget by us. So Flutter has a widget called back button that will help you to navigate back. So if you save this, for some reason we are not able to see our back button. So what happened? Let's go ahead and remove this pattern that I added here. So I save this again. So back button, color property. So the color start being white. So let's set the color to black. Okay, there we go. Nice one. Next, I'm gonna use inside the Chrome. I'm gonna say cross axis. So I want everything to start from the beginning. So there should be cross axis alignment start. You see everything now starts from the beginning. That's cool. So that's basically our back button that will navigate us back, basically popping the screen out. So if you try this out, so you see that goes out. So let's move forward. Pop goes out, move forward. So that's cool. That was actually working perfectly good. Next is actually to style the key text input. I want there to be a border at the bottom of each of these inputs. So what I need to do is to say right here, should have border outline. Border outline should be border side. Let's see. We're using border outline for styling our borders, but we are going to use border side to style the border we want to. Yeah, so let's try border side, and I'm going to say border side. Border side dot not border reduce. Come on. Hope this should be it. Okay, not this. It's taking a different color, which it shouldn't be. Think. Just give me a second. Let's take a look. Most of the syntax just forgets how to actually do them. We have to actually take a look at what you have been doing before. That's how I usually remember those syntax. So I take a look at throughout my projects and see, because I don't know what I want to do, that I can take a look where I've done it, or I can just search through the internet. But first of all, I prefer taking a look and see where I've done similar stuff. Let's see. Okay, I'll try and input border. I didn't figure it out, but say I'll try and input border. Should be to none. Set it up to none. I think there we are having this problem will basically be from our theme. Remember when we added a theme data to our app? So let's take a look. Error border is red, enabled border is this, focus border is this, disabled border is this. So we're gonna change it to actually use the same color that we want. So where is the color? Do we add that from? Come on. The color we are going to be using there is basically our main color, which is this. So hopefully we should be able to fix everything once we add those. But let's see how that goes. Not team states, team.data. Yeah, inside the team.data, let's start with light mode. So when this is in light theme, we have the enabled border to actually take up this color. This should be the color. Yeah, add a constant. So need to do the same for focus border. Should still be the same color for now. Disabled border should be this color. So let's try this out. Take a look. Yeah. Let's see label style. Others can style, leave this disabled border. Okay, I think we should be done by now. So this for the light mode. Start this, and I could just go over to the question screens, and then border. So same border.none. I won't say border.none, but I will increase the border width by using border side. Okay, let's try again. Let's take a look. Yeah, there you go. You actually see that working. So that's what I was expecting. Next, I'm going to wrap this whole stuff so we can be able to unfocus the keyboard. So wrap that with a gesture detector. Then say on tap. Already suggested the code to us. There you go, save that. Now you can focus and unfocus the keyboard. Then we have the button bureau. So we need to start the button a bit by adding a sized box here. Just use that for a spacing. Height, set the height to 20. Use this as a constant. Save that. And we can actually increase that to let's say 160 or about around 50. Okay, I think that should work. So right now we have question title, question answer 2, and after that you have the add question where you tap on to be able to add the particular question that the user wants to add. So I think that's cool at the moment. There's not much to actually design here unless we kind of like try to improve it more. But right now let's test this out. So I want to test out the question itself to see how that works. So when we tap on this, it should call add question, not start game. I think there's a function we created for that. Not add or test, it just called add questions. Yeah, add questions. So which is this one. That's the function I'm talking about. So for now, I want to test this out to actually make sure that this is working. And in here, I'm going to console out the equation whenever we tap on this. Added, save that, and bring up our debug console. Clear up that debug console. So let's go ahead and tap on this right now. See, tapped, but we are only getting this from the equation tap function instead. This one, not basically from this function has been called. But let's test out how if the function has been called. So let's add equation. Question tag 2 was the area. You're gonna have the question mark at the front. Next we're going to add answer. I'm gonna say the area is 20 centimeters squared, cm squared. How do we actually add cm squared? I think I need to add this, then add it 2, then I mean cm squared. Yeah, question answer again. This should be in number form, so that's 20. Then add this, and you could actually see that has been called, so that's working. So right now the equation has been added. So yeah, that's actually the functionality we are looking for, but there's an issue. It should be whenever the user is done adding the equation, we should clear up the whole form. There's a way to do that. One way to actually do that is to wrap the whole form with what we call form field. In Flutter, there's something called form field that we can actually use. See that again. Form field, I think. Come on. I've actually forgotten how we make use of this. Just give me a moment. Let me see. Okay, not form field. So what we should be using is called form. Yeah, it's called form, not form field. Should have a child property. Yeah, inside it should have a child property, and we could actually pass a column in there. We could actually go through this way, or we could just go through using, because the reason why I want to add this is we want a way to actually clear out the whole input whenever the user is done adding a new question. So we could do that by saying we could use a key on each of these inputs. We could use a global key on each of them. And then use a key to actually clear this out, or we could basically make use of this form field that we just created right now. So I'm going to pass this whole stuff in there, put the button, pass it in here, paste. So there's no much changes going on. Okay, we're making a mistake right now. So this should have the colon should have a children, and then they will paste the code that we want. So once we have that, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. The whole stuff is being reset, and now we can actually utilize the form field itself. Form field has something called on-change, auto validate mode. We don't need those, but we need a way to be able to clear the form itself in total, say key. So we are going to use a key on that instead of adding the keys to each and every one of the children. So we just have the key added to the form field and use that to control the whole form. So in here I'm going to paste this key. So we're going to use a global key called form state, and we're going to use that. I can actually call that a different stuff, call that question form key. Use that in here. So I'm going to say whenever the user taps on this, so we basically need to reset this. So that should be this, the current state dot reset. So that's cool. So let's try this. Add question, just any jargon. Then tap on this. See, this is not getting called. Okay, let's show this again. So tap over your tab, create questions, tap on any of these. So tap. Okay, that's been called. Our reset questions is not being called for some reason. Current states the reset. Let's see, I think that's because we're using a test field instead of a test form field. I guess that's the reason. But let's change everything to test form field and see if this is going to work. It should work. And then we're gonna save this. Over here, let's tap any jargon again. Yeah, that's working. So that's basically the functionality we are looking for. So how to achieve that? You have to use a form. So there's a Flutter widget called form that can you use to wrap any of your form inputs, and you can use that particular form widget to control the whole form input that you have. So you don't need to take a see if every form is being validated anymore before you can accept the form. Using form itself and using a key, you could be able to use this particular key to verify if any of these forms have been validated. Yeah, so that's it for now. So what I will need to do, since I saved this, so I'm going to go ahead and uncomment this out and then use an if statement around here. And the if statement, okay, yeah, I think that's basically almost the same what we want to achieve. Just copy this around this, then remove whatever we have in here. I'm going to explain what we're doing here. So validate means we are making sure that none of this is empty before we call save. So if you go ahead and do this right now, and we're going to add a print statement here to see if this has been called. Yeah, print statement that said validated. So if you bring this up, clear this, save, and go ahead and tap on this, you see validated is being called, but the issue is that this is not actually validated, but it's telling on that is validated. So that's another problem out there. because none of this is actually validated at the moment. We could actually add the validation by ourselves. I'm going to say this validator. So the validator is going to be a function. On a function with a value, and I'm going to say if value is none, basically if the value is null, we have to return something that says return. Come on. Okay, no. So say value. Again, so I have to use my hand to type all this out. I'm relying on this stuff. So in here, it should say return, please. And then I'm going to say if value is empty, if value is empty, so go ahead and return this, else do not do any other stuff. So I'm going to say else return null. So go ahead and save that, and if we tap on this again, yeah, so that should be able to throw an error. So right now you can actually verify that this part of the code is not being called any longer, because this is telling us this is not validated. This whole stuff needs to be filled in before you can be able to add a question, so the user will not know what they need to do. So I'm going to copy that and add that to the remaining two other paths, but I'm going to go ahead and change this. So I'm going to say please enter a valid question number. So I'm going to call that question, call that an answer number. Please enter a valid answer number. Use the same on other path of the test input, but just tweak one or two stuff, and we should be good to go. Please enter a valid answer, not a number, so this should say valid answer. And the last one, which should be this, should just tell the user please enter a valid title, a valid question title. Yeah, I think that's cool. So go ahead and save this, and if you go ahead and tap on this again, you see every single one of them now shows an error message by saying please enter a valid question title, please enter a valid answer, please enter a valid question answer number. So that's basically what we are trying to do, and that's working fine. So right now if you go ahead and fill up this stuff, let's say the question is question was the area, so that's our question, was the area. Do the same right here, and this should be in auto validate mode, so we should use auto validate mode here, so I can actually validate auto validate mode. Use this. That's on user interaction. You can just use that on every single input that we have. Yeah, actually running out of time. Let's kind of like make this faster. So you see that that's actually validated at the moment immediately. So we still do the same here. I'm gonna just randomly say 24 cm squared. These are actually added the square, so this denotes square. the question answer, which is the last one, is a number, just 22, and the whole stuff is actually validated immediately. And you go ahead and submit this, and once it's submitted, you can see that right here. I can actually see the whole question is being reset to the default value. So that's cool. We're actually on the right track. But right now we're actually submitting the question, but we don't have a way to actually view the questions that we submitted for the users to use. To be able to view that, I'm going to add another feature. It's not actually a feature, but basically a way for the user to be able to view that. So how do we basically do that right now? So what I'm going to do is, you can keep on adding the questions, and once you go back, you can actually have a way to see questions. So I can add another link here that opens another page that shows the user the questions they have added so far. I think that would be nice. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm going to create another page, call that all questions, all questions dot all questions dot stateful widget, call this all questions. There we go. And I import this. In here I'm gonna return a scaffold at the moment, and this scaffold is going to be a const. And inside scaffold we are going to have a body, and inside the body is going to be a safe area. Yeah, wrap with a safe area. There we go. Go ahead and save all this. So if we go ahead and use this right in here in our main.dot, that should be right somewhere here in our main.dot. Paste it here. For now, just trying to copy this Alt in and paste that below here, and then remove this, copy it again, remove this, then use that right over here. That's cool. And I'm gonna call this to be view all questions. All questions. There you go. Save that. I can actually see the next tab, and in there you're going to take us to all questions screen. So if you tap on that right now, it's actually going to work, but the screen is going to be blank because that's how it's supposed to be. We left it blank, and in here I'm going to say background color, and background color is going to be gotten from our theme, the current theme of context of background color, and remove this from being a constant and make this a constant at the moment. And until if any of these shies is going to be dynamic, they're still going to remove the constant. So that's it so far. Now we are going to be able to list all the questions that the user has added right here in a list. One way to actually do that is to use a list view to list the whole stuff. We are going to do that by actually removing this. So none of this shouldn't be centered. So I'm gonna remove that center widget. So just tap on this and tap over here, remove widget. It's going to remove that, and wrap this to be inside a builder, or basically inside a column. And since this, so I'm going to move this and make this a constant at the moment, so the cycles keep on going. So I'm going to save this. Since we are inside a safe area, I'm going to add a padding around the safe area. I think that should be better. So inside this column, I'm going to use a padding on it. I'm going to say padding.all should be what am I doing, 15. So that's cool. So the test is going to say all questions. Test can actually have a style property, and the style is going to be getting from the team, and I'm gonna say theme dot of context dot test style test theme dot this is going to be headline 2. Use headline 2. In that case, I have to make this to be non-constant for that error to go away. Format this, go ahead and save this. You see this becomes very big. That's what we're looking for. So once we added that, so this basically is saying that we are getting our test type from the team. Remember when we did a test team? If you all could actually remember, we did a test team. You see that test team.light, which is actually right in here. We did a test team. You see testing.dark, how the test will look in a dark theme. So we did all those stuff. So that's what we were able to do this stuff we're doing right now. And if you want to kind of be able to change the theme, you don't want this to actually follow along with the theme. Maybe you want this to be white across the whole dark or light theme. You can just say dots copy width. Since this is going to be null, just force unwrap it, and in here you can just set whatever you want to set. You can say font size in there, font size to be 20. You can just set font color. So like I said, you can give it any color that you want, but we're not going to do that. So we just want it to be its own color. So just leave it that way. So once you get that saved, next we're going to use underneath it. I'm going to use a list view. Yeah, list view dot separated. I think that should work. So each every one of them will be separated. I think so. Yeah, let's try that. And inside each of those list view dot separated, they should be able to have the question test, right? Because if you guys remember, we wanted to have the question test, and we also wanted to have the question answer in a text form, and also have the question answer in a number form. Yeah, so the user could be able to see that. And I don't know if we can add the editing part to the whereby if they want to edit the test, we can allow them to edit that particular test. I don't know if that actually makes sense, and also give them the opportunity to actually delete that particular question or edit that particular question. But let's keep on going. Let's see what we are going to achieve with the time we have so far. Guys, I'm going to take a pause, right? Okay, I'm back here again. Yeah, just needed to take a call. So what were we doing? So yeah, over here we have this list view that's separated, and in there, I'm gonna say item builder. The item builder is going to be a context, and there's going to have a number that's going to be building. So over here, let's pass a function that has a context, also has index. I'm going to return this. We're going to say return. We can actually use a list style where I have a question and then all those stuff. I don't know, but let's see. Return list style. inside the list, it should have a leading, title, subtitle, and trading. So you can just make use of a list style. So the list style, let's already have, okay, this separated builder. Separator builder, do we need this? Just say please view the builder and remove all these ones for now. I think item count is needed, and the item count for now, I'm going to hard code it. Let's say 3 at the moment. And then this list view has to change, so you're going to have a title. So this we're going to have a title, which is going to be a test, and the list view is going to have trading. The trading is going to be the answer, another test. So let's still add this, and it's going to have another one called subtitle, which is still going to be another test. All this put together, save this. We have an issue. Let's see. Okay, this column, we need to wrap this either with expanded. I think we can actually wrap this with expanded to take the available width. Expanded. Okay, that we fix this. Let's try using a sized box. Maybe I have the double infinity height. So that's still happening. The issue is because we are having a list. We are having our list view builder inside a column, and yeah. See, come on, think. Let's try wrapping this one with expanded and see flexible, not flexible. Yeah, okay, that worked. But did it actually work? Yeah, that worked. So yeah, wrapping it with expanded will actually take the available space within the parent, and in here we can actually say cross as it does start, so the whole stuff starts from the beginning. And this, why did it start from right here? Let's see, pattern 15, and if you take a look, let's figure out why that is start pushing everything to start from that end. Content pattern is optional. Now we have the list view builder itself. Let's see if it has a padding on its shoulder. Okay, so let's take a look over here. So this has question 1, question 2, and then the answer. That's basically the question, the test answer, and the number answer. So that's how we actually differentiated all this stuff. But what I could actually do, before we ever figure this out for now, I'm going to give a space in between the title using a size box. And there I'm going to have a height property, let's say around 30.0. Make this to be const. So that's have a spacing right there. And now I'm going to be getting these questions from the user added questions. And the best way to do that, I'm going to wrap this. What's it called again? I'm going to wrap the quorum, or basically let's say the list view. I'll just wrap the whole quorum. Wrap the quorum with builder that is going to be coming from consumer being from provider, and the consumer of type should be our state, which is this, calculator state. So let's go ahead and import all this stuff. And once that is imported, next we are going to have a context, a calculator state, and a child in there. Save this. The issues is fixed. So what we need to do is I'm going to say the item count is going to be calculator state dot all questions dot length, but we don't have anything called all questions. But we probably have something called custom questions. Yeah, custom questions. That's one we're going to get access to. And then the length. For now, if we save this, so this is going to show us one because we already added one question at the moment. If you guys could remember, we already have one question in there. But we want a way to be able to display those questions right in here. This builder. Let me see. So the easiest way to actually accomplish that will be basically to list those questions right in here. I'm gonna say right somewhere here, since we are getting the questions. Okay, that's actually cool. It suggested the whole code for us. Just need to change this part, and there you go. So you have the index or question title. Save that. Okay, question has no instance getter question title, so question has no instance getter question title. So let's figure that out. So we have custom questions of type question, right? And our question only has question. Okay, not a question title. Okay, we are the one making the mistake, so this should be question, not question title. And if you save that, yeah, so was the area, so that's cool. And next, the trading should be the question answer, question answer value. So I'm gonna copy the whole stuff. Just copy the whole stuff from here and then paste that in here. And that shouldn't be question itself again, so that should be answer value. That should be answer value. And next should be this. There you go. And this should be just so. So go ahead and save that. Okay, we misplaced the whole stuff, so I think we are good. Yeah, so we are good. So this is how every single thing should look like. So you have the question, the answer, and the answer value. I think both of them are actually different. It should be the same. So the answer is in numbers. The answer value is both the number and the representation, the unit representation of that answer. So that's what I mean by answer value. But it shouldn't be this different. It should be 24. But we need to add a number at this point. So that should say index. That should be question title the leading. Should have something called leading, and leading should actually be a test also. We didn't add the leading property, so let's add that. Should be a test. Paste. And should be only index. Okay, index +1. Yeah, Save that, and there you go. So you have the equation, but the leading is actually taking a whole lot of space. I actually figured out how to do that. Leading style, the leading widget shouldn't be having that much space. Let's see. I think we can actually solve that by using list style. That should be over here. List style. Something is wrong. Okay, it's called style. Okay, so I'm the one getting it wrong. So the style is basically the list style. That's what we'll be using. It's a type list style in there. Oh, that's how to actually work with this. Okay, I see. So that should be dots. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we're going to actually keep it this way for now until we kind of like get this to work. But for now, let's leave this. So we already have a equation and the equation number and the equation answer, and then this right there showing up. We can actually keep on adding more if you want, but let's kind of like be able to finish this up so I can be able to host our web, and then we can get back and try to fix other stuff. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. It's almost an hour plus so far. So let's try to see if we can actually get this stuff to work. So what I'm gonna do is to head over here, have the back button that we added. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste. So copy paste. Where is it? Yeah, copy the back button and paste it in here. Before the questions, I think we're good to go. Save. Okay, for some reason that's not showing up. It should actually show up right here. So what's wrong? I think we okay, there you go. So we have the back button added already. So now we can actually go back and go forward to view all the questions, all questions. Go back and create a new question. So I'm gonna say was the square root But if you can actually take a look at the whole stuff, you can actually see that our user experience is not good. I will explain why I say that. So question answer, was the square root of a what? So what question was the square root of a square? That should be interesting. Okay, what's the square root of a square? Then we should say the right answer should be 24. Guys, I'm not even too sure. I'm probably saying something wrong about that. You guys already know what I'm trying to do, just to add a random number, a random question and the answer right there. And I'm going to say the answer is still 24 because the answer 2 is basically the main answer but in a number form. Then I'm going to say add a question, And once the question is added, this will be reset. So you go back and view all questions, then we should be able to see the two questions. So you see what's the square root showing up here, and then you can actually see what's the area, number 1 and number 2. So these are two questions so far. And so once we added both questions, we should be able to ask the user those questions. When the user tap on play game, those are the questions that user should be asked, and not our hard-coded question, because right now we'll be asking the user the hard-coded question and not the main questions. So you see, these are our hard-coded question that we're asking the user. So I'm going to stop the question. So I'm going to say, if the user has a custom question added already, do not ask the user our own question, but ask them their own custom questions, or unless they say otherwise. So if you want to continue with our own question, I will give you an option to use our own questions instead of using your own hard-coded question. We are going to still add those ones later, but for now, let's go ahead and test this out. So whenever we play the game, so whenever we say start a game for a user, we need to do some checking. So we need to do some bank checking bank. I see there's a bank account called checkings, savings, checkings, and current here. So over here, I'm going to check if this custom question is existing. The user has already a custom questions, then we ask the user that particular questions and not our own hard-coded questions. So how I do that is basically I'm going to scroll down to where we say play games. So when we want to start playing the game, right here, start game, I'm going to take a look and see if the user has a question or not. So basically, the way we do that should be this. So question count is equals to questions length. Then now start asking the questions. So question count minus 1. Inside this should be questions. So let's go ahead and fix those issues. So I'm gonna say is question a variable? If it is, so go ahead and assign this. So that should be final. Main question, and the main question should be basically say if question custom questions dot length, it's a second, custom questions get dot, do it, and with the get I'm gonna say custom questions. Okay, now I'm having an issue. Where's it again? Custom questions, it's returning a dynamic. No, it's not returning a dynamic, it's returning a list view. No, not a list view, it's returning a list of type questions, a list of type question, not any other stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use that, and then start game. Where's this again? So it looks like we passed it. Yeah, so still here. Remove this underline. So I'm going to say dot length. If the length is greater than 0, and if that is true, go ahead and use custom questions. Else, go ahead and use our own question, which is questions. Wait a second. Let's see, custom questions isn't used. Try removing the label or using either a break or continue. Oh, so we made a mistake here. So if this is true, go ahead and use custom questions, else use a questions. And over here, if it's not empty, if it's empty, oh no, if it's not empty, so it's not empty. So basically this is still the same as using the using the greater than 0 stuff we did. Yes, both of them are still the same, but this is kind of much better. Instead of doing that, you actually say questions that is not empty. If it's not empty, go ahead and use the custom questions, else use the questions. Now this main.questions is returning a list of type questions, and we are going to go ahead and use that. Let's just say list of type questions. and then I could go ahead and use this particular main questions on everywhere that we are using questions. So that should main questions dot length. That's cool. So I'm gonna say question counts greater than, okay, replace this with main questions dot answer value equals to calculated. What else again? Let's see. Spent to answer main question minus the answer calculated value stopwatch or the elapsed time. Okay, so we are going to see the places where we using previous questions and then change that to use main questions. So this should be main question, this should be main question, and this should be main question. What else again? Question count questions dot length. It should be main question dot length. Okay, I think we are done for this section. So the next one, oh my goodness, there's a whole lot of stuff we need to change. We're changing it over here also. Scroll down. We need to change this also to this. Check. Okay. Scroll down. Also, we need to change. Let's see. Okay, change this. Change this. Change this. What else? Calculated stopwatch. Okay, change this also. Next, let's take a look. Scroll down. Also change this. Scroll down all the way down. Yeah. Question counts correct is long answer. I'm trying to see if we have changed everything that we needed. Okay, I think we are good to go. Go ahead and save this and then restart. Do we need a restart? Well, we don't need to do a restart. If we do a restart, the whole question we added will be gone. So we still have the questions. So let's go ahead and play the game again. So play the game. So let's wait for the game to start. So probably for now the game takes about 2 seconds or 3 seconds. What is more than almost 8 seconds to start. You see, was the area. That's cool. And yeah, so it told us we got it wrong. Was the square root. And this should be the end of the question. Since we don't have more questions, the game stops. So that's cool. So that's good right now. So what we actually achieved so far is we are able to allow the user to add their own questions and not our own question, right? And that's cool. So probably let's go ahead and work on hosting this online. I think that should be good. Hosting it online, I think that should be better before we actually do any other stuff. So once we host this online, maybe by tomorrow we should be able to allow the user to use their keyboard to add a question. That makes more sense. So let's say the user don't want to be tapping on any of these, but that's not on mobile. On mobile you still have to tap on this, but I'm talking about on web and on desktop. So on web, on desktop, the user should be able to use their own keyboard instead of using their mouse to tap on the buttons. So they should tap the numbers on the key on their own keyboard, and we should be able to calculate that for them and know when they are tapping a letter and not a number key. So that's what we're going to do by tomorrow or next. We have a whole lot of stuff we need to actually finish up for this particular app we are building, but we'll be taking it one at a time. So that's my standing table, so I just mistakenly pressed on it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and work on the hosting part. And to be sincere guys, I have not hosted Flutter web before, so we are going to use some guidelines here. So I found something that can actually help us to host the Flutter project. Let me see if I still have that. It's an article that we can follow up. Give me a moment. Let me look for that. Should be somewhere here. Okay, so I found it. So we are going to be following the article for now. And I'm going to open the right here. So this app, come on, no. So this is the article we are going to be following up, and we are going to be going through the whole. So it's written by Mohammed Salih, the last name Gula. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he's living in Berlin. I think that's probably Germany. Yeah. So basically, you can find this on Git, not Medium. Yeah, come on. Yeah, you can find the project on Medium, but we are just going to follow through the whole process on how to host it on AWS. But we are going to be using AWS backend, because if you remember, I said that we are going to implement a way for us um, to be able to have two people in two different locations playing the game at the same time. So we'll be using AWS for that. I would have used Firebase, so I wanted us to use Firebase, but for some reason Firebase sometimes has issues on the web, because I just noticed that recently. I'm trying to implement one of my projects, Flutter, in a web version, but the Firebase, basically when it gets to Firebase, Firestore, yeah, Firestore, which is the database, yeah, Firestore, which is the database, yeah, the thing just actually stops working. I don't know if maybe that's from my own code base, but I've seen people complain about that online also. But that's why I'm going to switch over to Amplify. Although Amplify is not being supported on desktop and web for Flutter, but I'm going to show you guys how to bypass that. One way to bypass, I'm going to give a secret, is to use the Amplify backend URL. So I'm going to be using both the so for mobile, we're going to be using the package, and then on web and on desktop, we are going to switch over to start using the backend URL, which is basically an API call. We'll be making an API call to the Amplify itself. Yeah, that's it. So basically, let's go ahead and follow this. So right here we have setting up GitHub Actions. Let's start by deploying your project from GitHub. Go to the actions. So first of all, we need to add our project to a GitHub repository. Remember, I said I'm going to be uploading this to GitHub for those of you who have been asking me for it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say git init. Okay, we already have git initiated in this project already, so no need of saying git init again. I'm going to say git add, just say git commit -m. But instead of me doing this the hard way, just click on this, then use the commit message and commit. That will actually work for you, but you can actually still use it from the command line. So git add feature, and what's the message for this feature? What's going to be the message? Let's call this custom question. Add custom questions, I think so, and I'm going to say clear. Since we cleared that, and then let's open a GitHub repo. I don't know if I already opened a GitHub repo for it, but let's take a look and see if that's the case. I'm going to bring my browser right here straight into my GitHub, and then let's see. I think it should be somewhere. If I already created a repo, I should be able to find it somewhere here. But for some reason it's not there, so that means I've not created a repo for it. Then we need to go ahead and create a new repo. So new repository. Should we call this project? Wait a second. I've not tried to use this. What is this all about? So we have the new organization, we have the new project. I'm not creating an organization. Let's try the project one. Okay, so this basically helps kind of like Kanban kind of stuff. If you're using Jira and all these project management stuff, workflow, achieved item settings was new, GitHub, this new charts. Okay, still go back, but how does it actually solve the issue? Okay, to do in progress done. Okay, let's rename this. I'm still gonna think go through it and understand what is this all about. So I'm gonna say Cosidocs at Cosidocs what again? Fastest finger fastest finger app, not a calculator. Yeah, I think that should be it. Is there any other changes that we need to make? I don't think so. So new organization. I'm not trying to create an organization right here, but basically let's use our new repo, the one we are familiar with. So I'm gonna name this fastest finger. Actually have like using dash on it, fastest dash finger dash, and then it has a description, so we have to describe what this is all about. In this case, now let's start with the description. What are we trying to say? Let's say this is a fastest finger game played. This is a fastest finger game you can play with your friends. Okay, I spelled a friends wrong. I'm still spelling it wrong. With your friends using do I need to do that? Add a calculator. Basically is a fastest finger game you can play with your friends. Yeah, that's all. And we're going to make the repo public, so I don't need to make it private. Readme, I think we need to add a readme, but we need to add a readme before we forget. So let's go down. I don't know if we already have a readme. So we don't have a, okay, we already have a readme, so that's one. So no need to add a readme. So what I need to go ahead and create a repository, and the repository will be created. So already done the git init, git add readme, git commit. Let's change the branch, git branch, and I'm going to check out. So this is the structure. We are working on the structure base, but I'm going to check out master, and then go ahead and change this branch to become main instead of master, because changed it to main, no longer master, so we don't have anything called master again. That's a new way of doing branches by GitHub. So we're going to add this repo, this remutes, to point our remute space. So git remutes add, so we already added a remute, so we're going to say git push. But before we do any git push, so that's one stuff we need to actually fix, and that will be right here. If you take a look in the web version, this is the web version of our app. If you go to the index or HTML, which is if you actually run this app right now, so I'm going to go ahead and what am I trying to do right now? I'm going to go ahead and on the structure, go to structure, clear this. I'm going to create a branch, git checkout branch dash git checkout branch dash b, no, git checkout dash b, and that will create a new branch and check it out for us. Branch b, that should be prod, or we could just say whenever we push anything to the production environment, it should be able to run. So we're going to say git checkout dash b prod. Yeah, enter, switched to production environment, clear this. So right now What I'm going to do inside a production environment is basically, because this is where every stuff we created is still in, I'm going to go ahead and add this particular, like, first of all, let's run this on web so you can just see what I'm saying. So go ahead and say this, select device, run on Chrome web, so see run without debugging. So that will be start running without debugging. Let's wait for this to run first. I'm going to show you guys what I'm trying to do. We are going to do some little bit of designing today. Let's see. So yeah, there we go. So this is what I'm trying to change. If you take a look, you're going to see this is saying Flutter demo. This is not a Flutter demo, so we are not building a Flutter demo app. We need to change this to say something like fastest finger app, not calculator again. We are not branding it to be an app, so that says fastest finger app. And if you take a look, I can see that the icon here is using Flutter icon. So that's the main stuff I wanted to show you guys. So we're going to remove that and use our own icon. You see where he's getting the icon / icon 92. So we're going to remove that over here and replace the icon -92 with ours, which is basically the icon we are going to be using. Remember the index finger icon before. So what I need to do is to use this, rename it to say, okay, let's leave this the way it is. Is there any reason for leaving it? So basically rename it. I'm gonna call it icon -92 192. Is that correct? I see. Okay, that's capital letter icon. icon-192.png. So that's it. So carry this as it is, put it here, and that will basically replace the previous one we have, which with this. And now if you go ahead and restart this, okay, that's not working at the moment. So let's go ahead and run this again. Run. Something happened. For some reason our run is no longer selecting. Select the device, Chrome web. So that's strange. I can't even see the run. I'm gonna close this and open it up again. So let's put it over here. So there we go. Let's try running this again, because for some reason kind of kept hanging. We couldn't actually use the run button again, but hopefully this time around it should be, yeah, it should work. But I'm going to go ahead and select Chrome and then run this without debugging. So let's fold our hands and wait for this to actually set up and see if the icon we added is actually working or not. But while that is actually loading, let's take a look at the index. Okay, this is not working. We're still using the icon, the previous icons in there. In that case, let's see, favicon png. Okay, favicon png, so that's not the one we need to Okay, these icons, so favicon png, we need to rename this also to use favicon png. Once I rename, copy the name favicon and hit our box to open up. I'm gonna say this, no, close. I'll say this should go to rename, paste favicon.png, then move this, replace the favicon.png that we have here, replace. That will basically replace that for us. Q. Go ahead and save this. So right now we don't have favicon png is now changed to this. We're gonna restart this, but it's not going to work, and we can no longer use the run anymore. I don't know why that's happening. Maybe because we are changing the web on fly. Okay, so that still brings us to closing this and opening it up again, new window, then close this one. And once you open the new window, I'll go back to this, open this up. You should be able to select Chrome Web, run without debugging. Hopefully this time around this should use our own icon instead of the favicon icon that was there, but I think yeah, that works. So if you guys take a look, you actually see our own icon is being used. See the fastest finger, that's cool. You see it says fastest finger app, and you can actually see our favicon icon being shown there. That's actually great. I'm going to also go ahead, rename this to 512, and then just want to maskable again, maskable, and rename it to have maskable, all the stuff. Because if you are using a PWA, so I think this is for PWA also. We are still going to test the app to see if it works on PWA also. So this is favicon icon, iOS meta target tags and icons for more Apple mobile web app capable. Yeah, so I know that that's for PWA. So let's go ahead and change this. Put the 500 and something to actually use the same stuff. So I'm going to say icon, but it's actually more important to make sure that this icon size is actually 512. For now, we are not making sure of that, but we're going to change this later on in the future. So I'm going to say icon 512, copy that, replace whatever you have here, replace it. There you go. Do the same for icon maskable. Copy this, rename, just to copy the name. That's why I'm tapping on rename. Delete that and do this. Where is it again? Okay, there's an icon. No, I didn't ask you to open up, so just this, then paste, close, then copy. Replace maskable 192, and then again one more to go, and this should say maskable 512. If we go ahead and use that, maskable 512, replace, and we finally replace the whole icons that we have. I'm going to delete, we don't need those. If you tap on this is no longer going to work. I need to stop this from running. We need to open a new window and then delete this old one until I figure out why that is happening. I think that's basically from VS Code and not from us. and I'm going to go ahead and say finger, calculator finger, fastest finger. Open this up, and then I think we are ready to actually start hosting this, putting it on GitHub. So we already added all these fixes that we want so far. Name fastest finger calculator, short name fastest finger calculator should that be our short name, but we're going to change that later on. But for now, let's leave it as is. So what I'm going to do is to basically go ahead and add this to our Git, and then fit web icons. I think this should be change request. Change. Call that to say change web icons. Then commit. Once that is done, I'm going to say git push. And if you take a look, that should be the command we should be running. Git push dash u origin. Okay, I see. I'll go back. I'm going to run the git push here. I'm going to go to main, check out main, and then run the git push from main. And there we go. So if you guys go to the GitHub right now, my GitHub, you should find the code to that project. So there it is. So how the fastest finger app, the whole stuff is now lying over here. Guys, also try to start this up, and fork if you want, and whatever you want to do with it, share it with people, whatever, but make sure you add a start to it. It's a public project, it's free for everybody to use, whereby we are still going to make it actually work, and anybody can use it and play games with friends and anybody put up. It actually look like a public social media. That's gonna be interesting. If we cannot get it to that standard to actually work as a public social media app. Okay, so we have this. So what else do we need to do right here? So let's go ahead and host this. So inside the Git repository, go to the action tab and click on set up a workflow option. So action tab, which is this. We need to set up a workflow for yourself. In here, this will open a text editor for you. Create your first workflow, remove everything from the editor, and remove everything from it. Paste the following code inside the editor. So let's copy this and paste this inside the editor. Copy that. It should be inside the editor. I'm going to say name on website deploy, push main, build and deploy, Flutter to web, Ubuntu retest, actions or checkouts at version 2, Flutter dash action at version 2, stable enable web, Flutter config, get packages, Flutter get, build web application, Flutter build web dash release, make a copy of artifacts. Okay, I see. GitHub workspace. Okay, I see. So let's see what else we need to follow. The code says the code in the gist above does the following: trigger the workflow only when someone pushes a new change on a main branch. So on a new change on a main branch. So that basically means the production branch we worked on is not actually needed anymore, unless you're going to the branches that's being watched is the main branch. Since this is actually a public repo right now, it makes sense to actually have everything me be in charge of the control of the main branch. So you have to get through me to be able to push to the main branch. So whatever is inside the main branch should be what we should be seeing in the website. So I think that makes more sense. So yeah, once we have that set up, so next up we are going to let's see, once we have that set up, so that's what is going to be checks out project, set up Flutter as an environment, and build a release for web copies. Okay, so that's basically what all this does. Now you can commit these changes to your project. So commit new file. So let's do that. So I'm going to bring this in, start commit. Wait a second. Okay, are we sure that we don't have any other stuff to do? Okay, in that case, commit file name. Do we have to select that? So let's see. Okay, just tap on it. After I commit, the action will run and it will fail, and that's okay. So let's go ahead and do that. Commit. And okay, there we go. There we have that GitHub workflows. And next, let's see what else we need to do. At your base, okay, you are missing a script to create artifacts folder and copy and release build on it. At your base project folder, create a file called create to folder and paste the code below it. Okay, base code project folder, which is this. We can't create a new file called, okay, I think that we need to do that from here. So in that case, I'm gonna say git merge prod, and if you take a look, our production will be merged inside our main. So the whole stuff we have in our production will be inside our main also. But the pictures we changed, so that's cool. We have those merge changes happening, and also our code base is in there. So I'm going to clear this, and we are going to go ahead inside the project root and create a file called this. So that's basically a bash file .sh. That denotes a bash file. The bash file is going to have at your base project create a file called this.sh and paste the code below it. So paste this bash script. So basically make a d artifact and I'll remove artifact and then make a directory artifacts and cp-r.build.web artifacts. Okay, let's see. This script will check if artifact folder exists, and if it does, removes it. So that's basically what this first one is checking, is doing. So this is basically checking if artifact exists. If it does, go ahead and remove it, because I already know r.-r. So basically this means force remove. This only denotes remove, but this is force remove. And after that, so create an artifact folder, copy the release folder element in it, create your commits. After you commit that script and run your application, your action should be successful and you should see artifact folder with web build inside it. After you commit that script and run your application, okay, setting up and prefer hosting. Okay, let's do that. Git add. So let's add this. Let's say fit and artifact folder. Commit this. After we are done committing this, basically what else we need to do right now, let's run the app. Nope. On web, so let's run it on web and see how this goes. It's actually working fine on web. It's still going on. Okay, so let's see if the artifact folder was actually created. Okay, I'm gonna say git push. Okay, I'm gonna stop this from running, and I'm gonna say git pull. For this, I for entering, no, I for entering, then this, no, Q for escape, then WQ, quit and save. Okay, the GitHub workflow is still in here. I think that was the reason why this didn't push for the first time. So one that no, not putting again, already update, no need of putting. So I'm gonna say push, we should be able to have this up and running. Our branch, so start this. Okay, let's continue. So the next stuff that goes on here is basically saying after you commit that script and run your application, your action should be successful. We committed that and we run our application. Your action should be successful and you should see artifact folder with web build inside it. But let's wait, maybe it's still running. AWS, let's see our actions. Okay, the action is running in progress. So let's continue. So setting up Amplify hosting. AWS Amplify hosting is fully managed on CD, CID, CD. So that basically continuous integration and continuous development. And in there, it's saying services for fast, secure, reliable, which I've been using regularly for now. Most of my projects is based on AWS, so for both my backend and other stuff. Saying I'm using their dynamic database for my database, and since Flutter Wells release build up to actual web components, Amplify hosting will automatically support deploying that as well. So let's start by connecting the area created artifact to the Amplify hosting. First, go to the Amplify hosting page and click on hosting. Click on host your web app. So over here in Amplify, you guys remember we have been using Amplify for quite a long time right now. So let's get over to the Amplify. Not Amplify curriculum, AWS Amplify, yeah. And I think I need to go to my accounts, you know. Okay, I need to sign in, so nope. Okay guys, you guys need to give me a moment. I'm basically trying to log into my Amplify accounts with my credentials. Okay, so here's our Amplify Studio. So you can actually see I have this back-end environment called staging, and that's the fastest finger calculator, the hosting environment. So this should be where we should be at the moment. Let's continue the instructions. So after we are in here, so it says go to Amplify and click your host your web app buttons on the website, and this will take you to the page to pick either a Git provider or deploy it without one. For this example, you will pick GitHub, but you can pick any of the options. So we need to pick GitHub. After GitHub is picked, the browser will take you to install AWS Amplify to your organization, profile, or only to a repository. So let's go ahead and do that. So you see this has been done. It's now actually working now. So if you go ahead to the code, we should see our artifact folder, artifact/web folder created. So let's continue with our AWS. So select this GitHub and then connect. What's this sign in? So I need to verify this. Okay guys, give me a moment. Let me verify the authentication code that was sent to me. So after that, we have been asked to authorize AWS to actually use a repository. And we are back up again. Add repository over here. So let's choose a repository. We have two repositories at the moment. GitHub authorization was successful. Repository service provider GitHub. Select a repository that we want to use. At this point, we want to use the fastest finger one branch. So we have to monitor the main branch. Okay, so let's continue. So it says profile only repository. On GitHub, you will be okay. We see that main can define the repository you will write to Amplify. So you can also see the permission that have been given to Amplify. Once you set up the application, you will be directed back to Amplify. Okay, so we have this, and you can pick any project, connect a monorepo, pick a folder. So in that case, we need to select that, connect a monorepo, and enter the root directory of your app. So that should be this. So the root directory should be artifact/web. So the path side they asked us, so that should be this also. And let's see next stuff we need to follow. So once we are done with that, in the next page, according to your project type and information you have entered above, Amplify Hosting will generate a build file. You do not need to touch that. You can go to the next page. On the next page, you will check that your build settings and click on save on the deploy button if everything was expected. Okay, in that case, so next, let's see. So click on next. According to the information you have entered before, Amplify Hosting will generate a build file. You do not need to touch that. You can go to the next page. Okay, in that case, I don't need to touch any of this. Okay, can just use staging environment at this moment. Okay, let's see. Over here, allow amplifier to automatically, so you need to select that. Okay, we don't need to touch the space, so I'm going to keep it the same way it is. So tap on next. So the next, still here. I think we could have actually stopped and continued with, instead of asking for staging, adding a new, but let's create a new row nevertheless. Okay guys, I'm trying to create the new row and other stuff. Okay, looks like that's working, so I need to head over here. So we are over here, and now everything is set. GitHub repository service staging branch environment staging, and artifact application roots artifact being branch. So go ahead and save and deploy. Creating main branch success. Okay, so we have to wait for this to run and finish. Continuous deploy setup with staging, backend edit, so provision, build, deploy, disabled, preview is disabled. Okay, so the build is in progress, so we have to wait for the build to finish up before we could actually do any other stuff. So provision is done, so it's under the build section. So the build section is actually working. So I think that's it. So we have to wait for this to actually finish up. I think we have streamed for almost, yeah, that's 2 hours plus right now. Yeah, it's 2 hours plus, and I wasn't expecting us to actually get to 2 hours streaming, but there we are. Hopefully this actually goes faster as we expect. So let's wait for that. Come on. So once this is actually done, we are done building this. We should be able to see it live on the internet. So that's what we are waiting for. So we're waiting for this build to actually complete. Once the build is complete, so we should just check it out on the internet and see what this looks like. Yeah. Looks like the build section is actually taking a whole lot of time to actually build up. Okay, so let's go through this. So it's saying they are saying that learn how to get the most out of Amplify hosting. So first successful build of your fastest finger calculator app, then add a custom domain with free SSL certificate. I already have a no, we don't have a custom domain for this product. I was thinking of using my own personal domain that I already have, but that doesn't make any sense. So I think we can actually, guys, if you want this to be on a custom domain, you can actually ship in some money. So let's get a custom domain for the platform. Yeah, so we need to add a custom domain, but for now we'll be using Amplify own domain for it. Set up a test version of your site by connecting a feature branch. File leverage security branches to create new deployment every time a developer connects to a new branch, and their repository. Password protect your site. Working on only this feature. Password protect feature branches are not ready to be accessed publicly. So okay, that's cool, but right now we'll not be adding that in this project. Next, enable pull request previews. Preview offers a way to view changes from pull requests before they are merged to the target branch. Create a synthetic canary to proactively monitor your app. So it looks like the build is complete, the deploy is complete. Okay, that's cool. So let's test this out. So we should be able to view our app in this location. Copy link. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see. Let's see. Come on, load up. Why is it not working? And there we go. So finally we have a Flutter app on the web, and it's actually looking quite cool. That's nice. We need to do some changes, because if the user searches this more, the app becomes stretched, so we don't want that. So we need to add some changes later on, but for now anybody can access our app on the live URL. So it's no longer only me that can access the app, you guys can also access the app too. And right now we also have to actually add some stuff to the settings. I'm the only one that will allow you guys to actually make any changes to the branches. Okay, I'm trying to see to how to actually run this. Okay, let's type in. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So guys, I think we'll be calling it a day for at this point in time. So we already added the whole stuff that you guys need. For everyone asking for the free repo, for the free code, the repo is already set up. You guys can actually take a look at the repo right here. And for those of you who wants to test the app live, the live version is also here. So this is the live version also for those of you who are interested. I could actually test it on this browser. So there we go. You can actually see our calculator being displayed live, and it also has a PWA functionality. Just we need to do some touches. I need to do some finishing touches on it. There's some issues, because if you see, if you keep on expanding it, the host will keep expanding. We don't want that. So we need to actually make it to be constrained, like it doesn't expand even if the user is expanding the whole browser. So that's a fix we need to do. Next, you can actually install this. See, it has a PWA installable feature. So if you tap on this, you can install it with the name fastest finger calculator. So if I want to install that, I just tap on this. So if I tap on that, come on, you see, install. So that's actually what a nice feature right now. So I tap on install this. If you take a look, this is actually been installed on my app, on my system. See, that has been installed. So that's actually quite amazing. So I'll copy URL, open in Chrome, uninstall fastest finger. So we installed this, and let's take a look over here. Fastest finger. So on my laptop, on my MacBook, you can actually see the fastest finger calculator app installed as a PWA also. So that's actually amazing and cool. And also right now I can decide to uninstall it. We haven't checked this on the mobile. I will also check it on mobile and see how that works right now. So let me try that. I'm going to copy the URL, and I'm going to go ahead and uninstall this at the moment. I don't need to install it, just remove. We uninstalled it. We still have it right here over here. So let's check it on our mobile and see how this works on mobile. And on mobile is actually working, but we need to do some changes. Like I said, you can actually see that. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is how this actually looks on mobile app. Let me see if you guys can see this. So mobile app, you can see that that's our calculator showing up. So let's see if we can actually install this as a PWA on our mobile app. It should be giving us an option to install. Let's see. I can't actually find the option for this. So I'm trying to install this as a PWA, but looks like PWA is not actually working on iOS. I don't know. I don't know if this basically because I'm testing it on Chrome, but let me just test it on our iOS browser, which is Safari. So let's test it on Safari. I'll tell you guys if it actually works on Safari. Yeah, it works on Safari, so you can actually add to home screen as a PWA. So we added it in our home screen. There you go. I don't know if you guys have seen it. So it's working on Safari. So there you go. Then I can open it from our home screen on Safari, and that opens up as an app in Safari, and that's actually great. That's working fine. Yeah, I think that's it for now today, guys. from here we'll be actually be moving forward to adding some other changes in the app. There's a whole lot of stuff we need to do, but for now I just want to put it out there, allow everyone to test it live and see how this works, so it won't look like I'm the only one that has the app and maybe it's not actually usable by the public. But actually it's usable by the public. You guys can test it out. Let me know what you think about the app itself and the functionality. And also you can actually send me a feature request, if what you think you need to that needs to be added on the app, and we'll be working on it live on live stream and try to add all those features. And I think that was it, guys. Have a nice day, everyone. See you guys on the next stream. Yeah, for now, thank you, guys. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, please do subscribe. Hit the subscription button, and also the hit the bell button and share with your friends, family, everybody that's into programming or likes programming, or anybody that likes tech in general or computers, or send it to the person. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay, so